Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to talk about the WWE title, the top 10 matches with this belt. So my number 10 is 2 matches because I couldn't really decide. It's HBK versus Vader at SummerSlam 1996. I thought that was a good match because Shawn Michaels kept on beating Vader and Jim Cornette goes, "Oh, you beat him by a count out, you beat him by disqualification." He kept on coming back and eventually HBK, Shawn Michaels, did win. Or another match for number 10, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, SummerSlam 1994 with this belt. It wasn't a brawl, it was actually a match inside a steel cage, and I think it's the best match without using the bars or jumping off the top rope. They did a superplex from the top of the cage, but I thought it was really entertaining. I think, you decide what should be number 10 out of them two. Then number 9 with this belt would have to be Shawn Michaels versus Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 14, 1998. This was the last time this belt was ever seen at a WrestleMania. And I think that was just a great match. I mean, Shawn Michaels' back was really hurting at this point, but I think he really did a good job for the industry and for this belt for putting on a great show. Then for number 8, it's Shawn Michaels versus Diesel in your house. Good friends, better enemies. This was Diesel's last match, and there was a lot of controversy at the time. Would he put on a good show? He did put on a good show. It was one of the best matches that you would see at In Your House for this title. So that leads me on to the next match with this title, In Your House. Mind Games, Shawn Michaels versus Mankind. I think in the end it was down to no contest, but the match itself was just brilliant. I mean, I think Vader came out, I think Undertaker came out, and it was a big brawl at the end, but the match itself was really good for this title. Now, number 6, it's Bret the Hitman Hart versus Diesel, Survivor Series 1995. I really thought out of all the matches these two had, that was the best match. That really was. And I really thought that was just top notch. Now, a year on, number 5, Shawn Michaels versus Sid at Survivor Series 1996. I really thought that was a good match for this title. This was not a good match between Shawn and Sid. They had other matches at Royal Rumble 97, but this match was the best for this title. Sid won it in the end. I think that was the right call at the time. Now, number 4 is Ric Flair versus Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8, 1992. I thought that was really good because the storyline behind it was would Ric Flair reveal the pin-up of Miss Elizabeth, and Randy was going ballistic, and Elizabeth came out, and the match was just brilliant. I really enjoyed it. Macho Man cheated, he pulled tights, and I really thought that was a good match. Now, number 3 would have to be Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior for this. It was the first time in WrestleMania history. I think it's still the first time in WrestleMania history when champion versus champion, the Intercontinental Champion and the WWE Champion here, went head to head. I think it was the first time that the Intercontinental belt has ever been in the main event for WrestleMania. I think that was a top match. You got to remember back in the 90s, you got to remember that match back in the 90s, not for today's match, is with tables and all that. I think it was really good. It was the first time 2 really good baby faces went head to head. I think they really pulled it off. I think it was the Ultimate Warrior's best match by far. I think Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior did a really good job for this title. Now, number 2 would have to be Randy Macho Man Savage versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 5. I think it was the Randy's Macho Man Savage. It was a whole year because at WrestleMania 4 he won it. Then at WrestleMania 5 he lost it against Hulk Hogan. I think it was a really good match. Macho Man hold this belt for a whole year. So, yeah, and he was the first person to ever hold this belt. So, I think it was a really good match. So, I'll just mark it as my number 2. My number 1 best match of all time for this title belt would have to be at WrestleMania 12, 1996. It was an Iron Man match. It It's Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. At that time, I was a little kid, and I was thinking, I'll be absolutely bored for a whole hour watching them two wrestle. What can they do? But they absolutely, entertained me from bell to bell. And at the very end, Bret Hart walked down tile. Gorilla Monsoon got in the ring, and he goes, "We will have a winner." Went to sudden death. Came back. Shawn Michaels shrieked chin music. Bret Hart, and Shawn Michaels won this title. I think this is the best match by far with this belt. I mean, by far. I mean, it's absolutely amazing that these two guys could wrestle for an hour and keep us all entertained. I just watched the match between Randy Orton and John Cena for an hour. I actually got bored. I really did. But it's just my opinion. But back then, they really went for it. I mean, for this, they actually fought for something, not for today's standards where they have two title belts. I don't get that. Why have two world championships belt? One on SmackDown, one on Raw. You don't go to the Olympics and have two gold medals. It doesn't make sense. Same with wrestling. Why have two world titles? It's actually destroying the industry, destroying WrestleMania, and destroying the legacy of this belt. This belt was the main prize, the main goal for people who want to get into this industry. Now, it's an absolute joke. But you've got to remember, back when this belt was created, great matches were created, and you just got to remember the good times with this belt, not for today. So thank you for watching, and thank you for viewing my